While students were home eating turkey this past week, Quinnipiac athletics rolled on. The volleyball team was in the MAC playoffs in Disney World, the latest on a shakeup within the program, and the rugby team braved the elements of snow and cold for the NIRA playoffs. Plus, men's and women's hockey had busy weeks. The weekly polls are out. Find out where the Bobcats landed. All aboard. Sports Paws starts right now. Good evening, folks. Welcome inside Studio 125. I'm MJ Baird. We're pleased you could join us for Sports Paws tonight. We start with some MAC volleyball playoff action. After a 7-11 conference slate this season, the Quinnipiac volleyball team earned a 7 seed in the MAC tournament. This year's playoffs were held at ESPN's Wide World of Sports in Florida. Quinnipiac played 6-seeded Niagara in the first round, a team the Bobcats had beaten in the final game of the regular season in straight sets, and despite a different path, the result remained the same. Quinnipiac won and moved on. This time it went the distance, though, the two teams exchanging wins, and Quinnipiac coming out on top in the decisive 5th set. Kat Miller, the lone senior on the volleyball team, has been a force all season long, and now she's etching her name into the record books. Against Niagara, Miller broke the program record for kills in a single match. The senior recorded 34 kills, breaking the 23-year-old record of 26 kills set back in 1995, this coming just 2 weeks after Miller became the first player in the program's Division I history to record 1,000 kills and 1,000 digs in a career. Her illustrious career, of course, topped off with a unanimous All-MAC first-team selection. Next up for the Bobcats was a quarterfinal round matchup against number 4 Fairfield. The Bobcats and Stags split the regular season series one apiece, but playoffs are a clean slate. Quinnipiac up 24-21 in the first set, 1 point from winning, and the Bobcats let it slip away with 5 unanswered points for the Fairfield Stags. It went downhill from there for the Bobcats, ultimately losing in straight sets. Freshman Lydia Jones, an All-MAC rookie team selection, tallied 8 kills in the match. Now, once the team arrived back in Connecticut just 4 days after the season ended in the loss, Q30's own Kyle Levasseur broke the news that the coaching staff had been fired. Quinnipiac firing head coach Chris Saplinski and assistant coach Chad Davis after a 9-21 season for what was reported as, quote, a lack of performance. Saplinski had been at the helm for 7 years, sported a career record of 52 wins and 164 losses. Davis joined the program in 2016 and helped improve the team, leading to a MAC championship game appearance for the first time. We now bring in the man who broke the news just last week, my friend and yours, Kyle Levasseur. And Kyle, I just mentioned the success that this team had in 2016, but things have gone downhill from there. So really, my question to you, what happened to this program the past 2 years?
Well, MJ, you just said it. That 2016 year was magical for Quinnipiac volleyball standards. And the past 2 years, really, for the standards that this program has set, weren't that bad, which makes the timing of these firings so curious to me. So if we look at the Chris Saplinski era, I break it up into the first 4 years that he was a coach, and then the last 3 years that we've seen where Chad Davis was an assistant coach. Those first 4 years that I had mentioned, he did not win more than 5 games in the regular season. There were years like 2014 where they went 2-31. Chad Davis comes along, and they have the best 3 years that the program has ever seen. Not that it was all to Chad Davis's credit, but the past 3 years, we've seen success in this program. They made it to the MAC championship game. They lose to a perennial powerhouse in Fairfield that no one expected them to beat. They get 21 wins. And in the last 2 years, they're a middle of the MAC team. They're about 500 in conference play. They win a playoff game this year. So these aren't terrible seasons, which makes the firings so interesting. We're still looking at the reasons why they were fired. Athletics cites it for lack of performance. And then you look at some of the players that have played with the program, and what makes things interesting is how they described what it was like playing for the team, which I'm sure we'll get to, MJ. But we talked, I reached out to both Chris Saplinski and Chad Davis. Chad Davis was not able to respond to my phone call. He has not gotten in contact with us yet. And then Chris Saplinski has denied comment so far. So we are still waiting to learn more about this, but that's all we know so far.
Yeah, so Kyle, there's been many years of players who have gone through this program, dating back in Saplinski's 7 years that have been here. So what is their reaction? What is the reaction of these players to this most recent news?
Well, just hours after the news broke, MJ, there were 3 Bobcats in particular that took to Facebook and really showed how passionate they were about this program and against Saplinski. You have Bonnie Conklin, Tierra Allen, and Logan Riker, who all played for Quinnipiac under Saplinski's tenure, and they described playing for him in the atmosphere as hell, even going so far as to describe one practice where they all were crying and hugging each other before the practice was happening because they knew of how bad it was going to be. And then you look at other players that have left the program, Haley Anderson, Maddie Lay, and Michelle Cuervo all left the program leading up to the season. And that all goes back to my original point where this past year and two really weren't that bad, all things considered, where you have players transferring. Then you also have Jen Coffey, one of the best players on the team. She was hurt. Senior Claire Canute was also hurt. The program didn't have much to work with this season, with only Kat Miller being the only senior on the team, and they still were able to have a season in which they won a playoff game. So what's interesting is that they still were able to be a middle-of-the-pack conference team. They lose all these players, and yet we're wondering why these players left, and then there's also the lack of performance that athletics is citing for the reason.
All right, Kyle, thank you so much for your time tonight. Appreciate it, man.
Great. Thanks, MJ.
Quinnipiac University actively looking for a replacement for the volleyball coaching staff, effective immediately. All right, transitioning now, Quinnipiac women's rugby competed in the NIRA quarterfinals last week. The Bobcats trekked to Hanover, New Hampshire to face the Harvard Crimson. And it was a lopsided result, as Harvard really ran away with this one. Final score, 47-8. The three-time defending NIRA champions saw their season and their chance at a four-peat come to an end at the hands of the Crimson. Some sabermetrics for you. Quinnipiac season ends on a loss for the first time since 2014. Over to the ice now, Quinnipiac men's hockey on the road against Maine. To Alfond Arena we go for the highlights. It was a Friday and Saturday weekend series. We'll take you to the Friday night game first. Maine goaltender Jeremy Swayman in net for Quinnipiac. It was Andrew Shortridge. First period, Quinnipiac up 1-0 at this point. The Bobcats have a 3-on-2. Brandon Fortunato, with some good patience, finds Mike Lombardi. His shot can't find the back of the net, but guess who's can? Odin Tufto. That's his second goal of the game, puts Quinnipiac up 2-0. On to the second period. Craig Martin, with some nice puck movement here, finds Alex Whalen, but an even better finish. His shot beats Jeremy Swayman. Quinnipiac now up 3-0. That's the 5th goal of the year for Whalen. Maine trying to get back into it now. Brendan Robbins with the shot, denied by Shortridge. A little bit later on, though, Maine on the 2-on-1, perfectly executed. Chase Pearson finishes that one off. That makes the score 3-1. Later on, Odin Tufto. Throw your hats, folks. That'll be a hat trick. Quinnipiac goes on to win game 1, 7-2. Now let's check out some of the action from game 2. It was Saturday night at Alfond Arena. Same teams, same place, same time, different result. Quinnipiac in the second period on the offensive rush. Scott Davidson down the left side. One defender falls down, but Swayman shuts the door. Hold on, though. Play's not over. Zach Metza with the backhander in front puts that in the open net. The first collegiate goal for Metza as he celebrates with his teammates. He's going to save that puck. Here's another look at it. Davidson gets stopped there, but Swayman kind of out of his net. Metza, give him a dustpan and a broom because he cleans that one up. Puts the Bobcats up 1-0. All right, so to the third we go. Quinnipiac down low with the cycle. It's Odin Tufto. His shot doesn't get through, but Ethan DeYoung, his shot does. That beats Swayman, gives Quinnipiac the 2-0 lead. You see him eating as he goes to the bench there. Popular celebration in college hockey nowadays. Let's have another look, though. Look at Tufto. He actually gets his stick lifted on his shot, but DeYoung, following the play to the net, makes up for it, puts that one in the back of the net, and Quinnipiac leading 2-0. But Keith Petrozelli, yeah, you're going to want to check this one out, folks. Check out Maine on the offensive. The shot here, looking for the tip in front. They get it. Puck is up and somehow not in the net. We'll slow that one down and zoom it in. Look at the tip. The puck goes over Petrozelli's head. He reaches back, grabs it, and pulls it out of the net. Never went across the goal line. That will be no goal. Quinnipiac goes on to win this one 2-0, the final from Alfond. Well, it's Monday, and that means the national polls are out for the week. Quinnipiac moves up 1 spot to number 9. This is the highest ranking this year for the team. Up at the top, you can see St. Cloud State, Minnesota Duluth, and UMass Amherst. Quinnipiac has a home-and-home with UMass in just 2 weeks. The ECAC announced its weekly conference awards today as well, and 2 Bobcats earned honors. Ethan DeYoung was the ECAC Rookie of the Week, the freshman recording 2 goals, one you just saw, and an assist against Maine. And Odin Tufto was named the Conference Player of the Week. The sophomore recorded 6 points on the weekend, including that Game 1 hat trick. He now leads the conference in goals with 9 and points with 17. Our beat reporters talked to Tufto earlier this afternoon about his off-season development.
I mean, I took some heat for it, for only scoring 9 goals last year. People, not that I care, but people were kind of stereotyping as only a passer, and you just use it as motivation. So I think I have a guy who I shoot with back home, and I was with him 5 days a week, whether it was off ice or on ice, and it was mostly the main focal point of my summer, besides getting bigger and getting stronger. But yeah, it's something that I've taken a lot of pride in. I think it's shown so far that it's gotten a lot better, and not only just shooting, but like I said earlier, just finding different ways to put the puck in the back of the net.
Sticking with the men's hockey theme, one Quinnipiac men's hockey alumni made his NHL debut last week. With the Boston Bruins hobbled by injury on the blue line, Connor Clifton, class of 2017, got called up to the big leagues last week. Clifton has now played in 5 NHL games in the black and gold. He's yet to earn a point, but he did get his first fight under his belt. Check this one out here. Clifton making his presence known, dropping the mitts with 16-year NHL vet Jason Spezza. Spezza throws a couple punches after the play, but Clifton, nope, not going down easy, gets a couple in while he's there on the ground as well. Lands a few good ones there for Connor Clifton. All right, over to the women's side now. Every year, the Nutmeg Classic takes place the weekend after Thanksgiving. This year was the 15th annual tournament. Quinnipiac, Yale, UConn, and Providence College competed in the tournament. Quinnipiac playing UConn on Friday, and while you were shopping for a Black Friday deal, the Bobcats were showing off their best bargain. Her name? Melissa Samaskevich. The Bobcats senior captain netted 2 goals in the game, the first one to open the scoring in period number 1, another on the power play halfway through the second to put the Bobcats up 3-2. A 39-save effort from Abby Eyes held the score and helped Quinnipiac advance to the championship game. And, well, that meant a date with the number 9 team in the country, Providence College. Quinnipiac got the first goal, but Providence got the last laugh. 2 third-period goals, one on the power play from Haley Lunny, lifted the Friars to victory. Final score 2-1. Quinnipiac resumes conference play this weekend in a home-and-home with Princeton. All right, time for a quick break here on Sports Paws, but more coverage of Quinnipiac athletics after the break. One career milestone for a member of the women's basketball team. I'll tell you who coming up next.
Tonight on Sandwich News, we will determine what makes a good sandwich and a bad sandwich. First, the standard sandwich. Uninspired and frankly, a little gross. But we have here a Ray and Mike sandwich, the Cadillac of sandwiches. And if you want one, well,
come on down to Ray and Mike's at 3030 Whitney Ave, Hamden, Connecticut. Open every day from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. QCash is accepted.
now that's a sandwich.
Let's get it going. Sports Paws starts right now.
We start tonight with some basketball coverage.
And here again, Aaron Robinson hits the shot of his life. I don't know what that celebration is, MJ, but I'm loving it.
Is that Fortnite? Basketball action. On the men's side, Baker Dunleavy and company started the season 0-2. The Bobcats looked to make up some ground while everyone was home for the holiday. Let's check out the action as Quinnipiac hit the road up north to take on the University of New Hampshire Wildcats. Quinnipiac 0-2 to start the year, as I had just mentioned. See if they could turn that around. To take you to the first half of action, Quinnipiac up 21-13 at this point. Kevin Marfo gets the board, dishes it out to Jacob Rigoni. Okay, now last year we asked him, do you want to go by Jacob Thrigoni or the three-point wonder from down under? He said the latter. Those are two three-pointers there from number 25. Take you to the second half now. Rigoni, is he going to pull? Nope, he's going to drive to the basket this time. Puts it in for the dunk. Quinnipiac up big, 43-27. Second half, though, UNH trying to make a run. Jordan Reed drives in the lane, gets the layup and one. Count it. He'd make the free throw. Quinnipiac up 61-52. Later on, Josh Hopkins with the jumper. That one cash. A little later on, Nick Guadarrama in the lane. Offensive foul. And guess what? No one on the court can believe this one. Head coach Bill Harry-Owen is livid with the ref. Quinnipiac, late in the game, would go for the deep pass to Rigoni. It works. Y uno, for you Spanish folks out there, and one. Quinnipiac goes on to win this one big, 69-63. Advance to 2-1 on the season. 15 minutes have come and gone, and that's all we got tonight on Sports Paws. From here on out, we're all winter sports: basketball, hockey, acrobatics, and tumbling. Q30 Sports, your home for all things Quinnipiac athletics this winter. For our entire production crew behind the scenes, our producers, Randy and Katie, I'm MJ Baird. So long from Studio 125.